Hello, everyone, and welcome to Sacred Service. Sacred Service is going to be a weekly offering that is designed to give you a space to come to, something to utilize, to drop into connection with that sacredness within you. And it's just one way to do that. Obviously, there are endless ways to do that. But there will be something every Sunday that you can come to, and it will just be here recorded, an offering for you that you can use when it calls to you, when it is feels right for you, and a way for you to cultivate that sacred connection and to drop into that space and maybe jog some insight or some thought around something that is going on in our everyday reality, a different way to see something, perspective. And I would love if it could foster conversation, and we could drop into conversation in the comments. If you want to share in the Chakra Church, share on the page, anything that comes from you. I think it's so valuable to enter these conversations, to explore together, to share what's on my heart, what's in my mind, what's coming from my creativity, and for you to do the same. That is community, and that is how we grow. That's how we evolve. And none of it's wrong, right? So today, for this first sacred service, I want to address what it is to be so um to have what's happening like in our world right at our forefront. We have the ability, insane ability to know what's happening at anywhere in the world, um, right at our fingertips, right? We know the details, we know the intimate images, the intimate stories of what is occurring for people. And it is a wonderful way for us to gain perspective, to have empathy, to create more understanding. But it's also far more information, far more for our hearts to hold than we've ever done before so in history, where it's been largely our community. We might see a blip about something on the 60-minute news show, right? Until this time in history, until this era where we can see it at every point in time, and we see these intimate stories and this intimate portrayal of what's happening um, for an individual and for many individuals. And it's a lot of information to take in. And it's really interesting for me to observe myself and to observe what's happening in my clients as we take in this information, especially if you're coming at it from being an empath. I believe we're all empaths. I believe some of us have that turned on more than others. Some of us have had the ability to turn it on. Some of us have had to endure it and not know how to work with it, right? There's a lot of different ways that we lean into our empathic abilities. I believe we all have it, but especially those who identify as an empath, which I'm guessing are a lot of you. It tends to be people that are drawn to these spaces. That it can feel a little overwhelming, right? It can feel overwhelming to get all of this insight and to feel all these things and to feel the desire then to help. And that's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing for us to lean in and say, oh, you're a fellow human. You're a fellow being on this earth. You're a fellow animal. I want to help. I need to do something, right? And that's a really beautiful part of who we are. It is really important that we stay super aware of our energy as that unfolds, because one of the things that can happen is that we get pulled into that experience. Our energy gets pulled into that experience instead of being where we are and in the peace and sanctity of where we are if we aren't in that situation. And that's a two very different places that can feel kind of subtle, right? You likely will feel the distress and the sadness and all the things that come along with that, whether you're in it or you're not. But the difference in lending that help in choosing to support, be it through action, be it through money, be it through prayer, all of it shifts if we're coming at it from my energy in the sanctity of where I am, versus if I am joining the energy of the trauma, if I am letting my energy get spun up and integrated in what is happening in the places where the trauma is actually happening. And so I think one of the best things we can do that I found for myself is to root my energy, to remind my body, right now in this moment, for me, I don't know if any of you are watching who are there, and then it's a different thing, but we still want to root our energy, right? But like, we can hold it differently. The trauma um that you're actually experiencing needs to be held a little differently, right? Then I'm talking about those of us who are witnessing, who are watching things unfold and feeling those feelings that might come up as though we're actually in it. And they may trigger um, the feelings, the wounds, the situations that have happened perhaps to us in our past, right? But if you are not in the immediate situation, then come back into the peace that you have in that moment. Sometimes there's like this, I've heard people reflect it as like, um, it almost feels a little bit selfish, maybe, to like come back into my peace, even though this is happening. Like there's something that's like, I'm giving, or I'm like being a martyr in a way, if I'm just like giving my energy and being there with you in it, right? But we're never guaranteed this peace. We don't know, hopefully none of us will have to experience. Probably many of us have already experienced, right? Large scale disaster. Hopefully those of you who haven't, won't have to, right? But it doesn't, it doesn't do anything for the collective. We can't help in our greatest way if we get caught up in the disaster as though we're in it. And so that's where we observe our nervous system, we observe our mind, we observe our emotions, and we bring ourselves back to the rootedness in our body. And if you are in peace, if you do have sanctity, if you are not in a traumatic situation in this moment, then utilize that rooted peace that you're able to more easily access to serve the collective. And again, that service, once we come into that place, that service then comes from that rooted place. And the action that we take is more inspired with our creativity. It moves up from the root through our sacral, through our space of creation, and comes into our power. It informs our power, versus having a heavy heart, having nervous energy, having energy that's outside of our physical reality, that's even maybe projected into the future. What would it look like if this happened to me, right? Like that's our energy is like out in front of us. Our energy is not aligned in our center. And so our action becomes it becomes diluted, because when our energy is out of our core, it is diluted. And when our energy doesn't come from our root, it's less powerful. Our fire cannot be fed from the energy of creation, from the energy of the earth. Instead, it's fed, we're pulling on tendrils of it that sit outside of us. So today in this meditation, I want to move us through whatever experience, everybody will be having a slightly different experience. That's fine. But I want you to just, feel what you have been witnessing, and we'll take it down through us. We'll do a little exploration and see where we land in the end. So go ahead and close your eyes and just take a few deep breaths. And just really begin to notice what is here in your body. If you're on any kind of news, taking in any kind of information, you've probably been witnessing this large scale, horrific disaster. And if that's you, just notice what it's felt like. Feel the weight of what you've been witnessing. And just notice your body. Notice how it feels in your body. Can you identify how this experience is landing in your body? And just notice where it is. Notice what it feels like. And a lot of times we begin to lean into like the emotion. We speak about the emotion. We speak to this experience through the words of emotion. And I'm inviting you to go a layer deeper, feeling what that emotion is, but what is the physical sensation that is driving that emotion, that's creating that emotion? Emotion is a feeling in motion. What are you feeling? What is the sensation that is igniting that feeling? And notice where that sensation, that physical sensation, where it is in your body as you contemplate what you are witnessing, what you are experiencing visually, what you are hearing about. Where do you feel that? How does it feel physically, in physical sensation in your body? And notice if there's any heaviness in the heart, any ache there that just naturally arises in most of us from witnessing suffering. And I say most of us because it can really be any which way, and there's no right or wrong. If you're feeling it differently, know that that is perfectly beautiful. But for a lot of people, there may be this heaviness and an ache, and maybe that heaviness and ache is felt somewhere else. But just notice where it's felt. That pulls you to action, that pulls you to want to escape the discomfort through helping, through numbing, through fleeing, through freezing, all the different ways that we want to avoid feeling discomfort in our body. So deepen into that experience. In this meditation, this peace that you have here in this moment, the safety that you have in your body, invite yourself to explore that. Explore that deep ache. Let yourself feel it on all the levels, taking it down into the root. What does that make your root feel? What is the sensation you get in witnessing tragedy, in witnessing disaster? And bring your awareness to the earth under your feet, the roots that tether you to this earth, the grounding of where you are in this moment. Just feel the truth of your immediate reality, your body, your breath moving through you, the room that you're in, the material on your body, the surface upon which you sit. And if you feel at all still pulled into the trauma unfolding elsewhere, honor that part of you, honor that empathy, bring that energy back to the here and now, back into this form that is yours, that in this moment is safe, is breathing. Just breathe into that and really now notice that stability that you have, the power of being grounded, of feeling calm, of feeling present. Feel how steady and unwavering your energy can feel in this rooted place. And now, from this rooted place, continue to breathe and let your energy rise into the bowl of your sacral chakra, your sacral space, this place of creativity within us, the place where we create. Just feel any movement you can there. The movement that's arising from the root, from this truth that we are, that we exist. And in that truth is where we find our ability to do, to create. So from that root, as you rise up, feel that movement of energy begin to flow a bit more. The creative spark begin to ignite and light up within you. And in that, feeling the ability you have to imagine solutions, to find unique ways to assist. This honoring of what you have to offer. This creativity, this rooted creativity, forming the foundation of your sacred service. And as that movement flows through you from this space of truth and wisdom, see if you can feel the fluttering of power right above that, up in your solar plexus, up in your gut, where you can then act and do and use this power in a way that feels aligned, in a way that stems from your unique ability, from your unique creativity. And let that combine and connect with the heart space above. Now letting that empathy connect with your power. That human connection that we share, that we give and we receive in our witnessing, in our sharing. Let that energy from the heart move down and connect with this power. And see them as like two streams coming together to form a river flowing out of you. And feel into, how does that river want to flow? What does it feel like flowing out of you? Does anything come to you from your third eye, from your imagination in the way that you could best serve? Without any judgment. When we judge, that sacral energy immediately begins to quell. Letting it all be right. Letting it all be valuable. Because we never know. We don't have to make sense of it all. But we can trust that when we're in this aligned place, when the energy is flowing in this way from our rooted being, from our unique creativity, from our open and flowing heart, and our connected imagination, that what we come up with is the unique offering that is most potent, most powerful, most needed from us. It is our purpose in that moment. How are you called as you feel this alignment? And it might be, we're talking today specifically about this situation unfolding with the fires in California, but there's so many other situations. You might be feeling something more in some other realm, some other thing that's going on, maybe in your local community, another place in the world. And if you feel called, wherever you feel that alignment connecting, let it be there. In this moment, tapping into your most powerful contribution to the whole. And it will feel like you're giving and you're receiving. Because when we give from that place, we can't help but also receive. Because it's so pure. Taking grounded action in a hurting world. That is the salve that we have to offer from who we are. That is how we show up for humanity in our greatest way. Blessings to all of you. Thank you for being here for sacred service. Continue to sit in meditation if you'd like. Have a beautiful rest of your day.